Hello, my dear ones. Today about a living decoration for a front door. By the front door of my house, dipladenia is blooming beautifully around the cordyline. It's such a lovely decoration for the home. When you come home, your mood immediately lifts. When you leave the house, you already want to come back. Your mood lifts then as well. And today I'll show you how I create this kind of flower arrangement. It's spring now, and as you can see, it's already night, but I'm still not done. I have a big homestead, and right now I'm laying the foundation of beauty for the whole season. So I'll keep planting at night as well and record this video for you. So, what are we doing? Here we have a small cordyline bush that was grown this year. I'll be planting it by transferring it carefully without disturbing the root system. Handle it gently, supporting it from the bottom, holding the root ball. At the bottom of the pot there is drainage and loose, fertile soil with neutral acidity. We filled the pot with soil so that the cordyline would fit in comfortably. We check the height, and we need to make sure there is still some space left at the top for watering. We don't cover the plant's growing point too deeply with soil. This is the correct way to do it. Then we top it up with the good soil we prepared. So what are we going to do next? I have 4 dipladenias. They're all different colors, and it will look very beautiful when they're planted around the cordyline. I'm also planting them by carefully transferring them with their root balls. I take the dipladenia by its soil ball and check the height as well. What do we need here? We need the roots to fit fully into the pot so that nothing has to be cut off. There should also be a bit of space between the pot wall and the root ball. And there should be a little space between the cordyline and the dipladenia as well. So we can add soil there and the roots don't get tangled together. That way this flowering arrangement by the front door is most likely to delight us, our loved ones, and everyone dearest to us for a long time. Now we are going to do exactly that. What else do you need to know? Before planting, I trim the dipladenia bushes with clean, disinfected scissors so they become fuller and more spreading. I prune them once. If I wanted the dipladenias to be grown as vines, then they wouldn't be planted around the cordyline. I would plant several bushes separately and put up a support, and then they would climb and twine around it. But I want a flowering, spreading bush, even though it's a vining plant. That's why I'm going to prune the dipladenias. How do we do that? For pruning, I use the span of my arm as a guide for length. For men, it can be a little shorter. So we take a branch and measure it. Somewhere around here will be our cut. There is already a flower on this branch. Unfortunately, we'll have to cut it off, but a new one will grow back very quickly. Snip, snip, we make the cut. By the way, one flower is still left. Here is where we'll cut. We measure and snip again. There are some tricky spots. I really want to show you this, where beginners, girls and boys, can easily get confused about what exactly needs to be shortened and pruned. I'll find such a questionable spot for you now. For example, right here. See, the thing is, the flower stem looks very much like a branch, but in fact, you should not cut this part. You should cut where the real branch actually grows. And here is the real branch. We finally got to it. Everything else is just flower stems. Sometimes people mistakenly cut the flower stem with its leaves instead of the branch. With Mandevilla, dipladenia, there is this little nuance, and it's easy to mix them up. So look, we are pruning the branch. Here is the true growth point. Of course, this understanding comes with experience. Look how long the flower stem is. It's often mistaken for a branch. The actual growth point of the branch sometimes hides among the flower stems. This part we will cut off because it will weigh the bush down and make it lean. And new flowers, don't worry, will grow back just fine. See, here is the flower stem, and here is the branch. Here are the flower stems, girls and boys, and here is the growth point. You see? So we cut at the growth points, and many more flowers will keep blooming for us. So there's no need to worry. The thing is, Mandevilla dipladenia is very poisonous. You need to wipe down all your scissors and gloves afterwards and make sure that none of the sap gets anywhere near you, not on your skin and certainly not into your food. On the skin, it can cause an allergic reaction. If it gets into food, it can cause poisoning. This is something you need to know. A real beauty, but poisonous. When I first filmed something like this, people said to me, "What? Why do you keep such a plant in your yard?" Girls and boys, most flowering, beautiful plants, especially tropical ones, are a bit poisonous. Anyway, I'm not here to scare you. You can simply warn your grown up children and your husband. They are already conscious, sensible children, including the husband. You do need to keep an eye on little children. Pets, as a rule, don't eat poisonous plants on their own, but you should still keep an eye on them, especially since the dipladenia is out in the garden. It's the sap that is poisonous. But if you just touch the plant, nothing terrible is likely to happen. Still, you shouldn't touch it unnecessarily, because the plant doesn't like that. But when you prune or plant it, the sap, the white milky liquid that comes out, yes, that is poisonous. But it is so very beautiful. Of course, it's not like a rose, which only has thorns, unless you fertilized it with something toxic yourself. Dipladenia is a decorative, ornamental plant. A rose can even refresh you with its petals, flavor your drinks, and help you feel beautiful. So there you go, just so you're aware. And now we're going to start planting. So, my dear ones, my sweethearts, our initial beauty is ready. Later it will all grow and fill out, and it will look absolutely gorgeous. And I'll definitely show it to you later, because we planted this together, so this beauty is yours too. Let me remind you of a few planting details. There should be a gap between the soil level and the rim of the pot for watering. There shouldn't be any empty gaps. We check gently with a finger between the plants or between the plant and the wall of the pot. You don't need to compact the soil too much, just so all the voids are lightly filled, still fluffy, giving the root space to spread out, thrive, grow, and bloom. I also want to add, you can see that the lower leaves of the cordyline have spread out quite a bit. Especially now, while it's rooting, you should place the pot so that when someone walks past, they don't catch on those leaves. And the same goes for the dipladenia when it becomes very spreading. Put the pot in a prominent spot, but in a way that people won't bump into it as they walk past, so that everything stays safe and well. These lower cordyline leaves can be trimmed carefully, close to the stem, just like how palm leaves are trimmed. Now we'll water our flower arrangement, and that's it. I love you. Bye bye.